My name is Chris Cuban. I'm the Director of Media Relations for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, and we appreciate everyone that's here this morning. We have a big announcement to make this morning, but first, I want to reflect a little bit about this day. Today, 12 years ago, the Twin Towers were hit. Everyone here knows exactly where they were on that day when they heard the news. The reason why we're here today started 12 years ago with the heroism of one off-duty FDNY firefighter, Stephen Siller. Stephen was going to play golf with two of his brothers, and he heard the call on the radio that the Twin Towers were hit by the planes. So Stephen, like most first responders would do, went back to his firehouse instead of going to play golf. His guys had already responded, so he grabbed his gear and he tried to respond personally on his own pickup truck. He got stranded on the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway and abandoned his car right there on the freeway. He did what any first responder would do. He put 65 pounds of gear on his back and decided to run 3.5 miles through the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel to Ground Zero, where he died that day. Stephen was loved by so many people. You have to know his story first to know kind of why we're here today. Stephen was the youngest of 7. He was orphaned at the age of 10. He had a wife and 5 kids, and he was loved by everybody. So they wanted to start this foundation to keep his memory alive with a message of let us do good. And this was a very small New York-based foundation until about 4 years ago when something really miraculous happened. The first quadruple amputee to survive any U.S. war just happened to be from Staten Island. And so the Siller family went to Brendan Morocco and said, you're our hometown hero. We want to build you a smart house here in Staten Island. And Brendan accepted, and that was the start of a beautiful relationship between the Tunnel to Towers Foundation and the Gary Sinise Foundation, because the Gary Sinise Foundation came and did a benefit concert for Brendan Morocco, and we built that first house in Staten Island, New York. Well, today as we sit 3.5, 4 years later from the start of that first house, by the end of this year, we would have either turned over or have started a total of 20 homes across the country. One of which was right here in Temecula for Corporal Juan Dominguez. So we're back in Temecula. 1 year later, after we turned the smart home over to Juan Dominguez, to announce that we're going to be doing another benefit concert right here on the footsteps of City Hall for Staff Sergeant Matt Lammers, who has chosen to live the rest of his life here in Temecula. We encourage everybody to go to OperationMatt.com to buy your tickets for this benefit concert on November the 2nd. Operation Matt is what we're calling the community effort to build Matt Lammers this smart home here in Temecula. We encourage everybody to go to that website. If you can make a donation if you can't come to the concert, if you want to get involved as a corporate sponsor, if you want to get involved in building Matt's house, we ask you to go to OperationMatt.com to help us out on this project. So, with us being back in Temecula, it was almost 1.5 years ago, 1 year and 9 months ago, when Gary Sinise approached the City Council about doing a rock concert on the steps of City Hall here. And the City of Temecula was so gracious to allow us to do that concert, and we had so much fun that we decided to ask the mayor and the City Council if we could do it again. So I'd like to introduce Temecula's Mayor Nagar, to make a couple comments here.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to also welcome my 2 colleagues here, my Mayor Pro Tem, Marianne Edwards, and last year's Mayor, Chuck Washington. I'm really glad you're back here, and as I'm trying to look deeply into this 12th anniversary of 9/11 and what it means to me and what it means to the city, a couple of thoughts come to my mind. We've all heard the saying. It's kind of become a little cliche now. Maybe it's even to some degree lost its meaning. Freedom is not free. We've heard that, and we know that, and we say that quite a bit. But when I think back, let's say to the 6,000 years mankind has been civilized on this earth, the notion and the concept of freedom and liberty is really only about 230 years old. If you think about the American experiment, this notion that a man will govern his own life, this notion that he'll own his own property, he'll govern his own family, is new in relation to the 6,000 years. Think about that for a second. Because prior to that, the government took your land, the government told you where to work, the government told you what you'll do with your family, and Lord help you, if you defied the government, you would disappear. And so this notion of liberty costs blood. This notion of liberty cost lives. And people went out there and fought for it because it was worth fighting for. So fast forward now to 2013. And here we are. And I'm standing here next to Corporal Dominguez, who decided to call Temecula his home. And now I'm pleased to meet Matt. And this is your wife?
Yes, sir.
A pleasure to meet you. Who has decided to call Temecula his home. And I think, and I'm going to speak on behalf of the City Council and of the citizens of Temecula, that it would be an affront to liberty if we didn't tell Matt and Corporal Dominguez and everybody who sacrificed for liberty, that notion of liberty, which perhaps we take for granted every single day. It would be an affront if we didn't tell you, come here to Temecula. Come here to Temecula. I will promise you this. I promise you, because I know this community and I know my colleagues. We will welcome you. We will love you. We will pay you back. And you will enjoy being in this community. And to the degree we can help you erase your pains and your anguish and everything that you went through, I promise you we will do that. You have our commitment. And let it be known that anyone who has suffered as these two gentlemen to my right and to my left has suffered. I don't care where you are in the United States of America. If you want to come here to Temecula, we will receive you, we will love you, and we will help you. And that is our commitment. That is our commitment to liberty, because we're committed to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matt.
You're very welcome.
As I drove into Temecula just a couple days ago, it's been a year since I've been here. And I can really see how this community has embraced their active duty veterans by the banners they have throughout the City Hall complex as well as the main street. I can see how they've embraced Juan Dominguez. And Matt, I know they're going to embrace you like they have Juan. In that sense, I would like to introduce two of the City Council members that would like to say a couple words here. City Councilwoman Marianne Edwards and then Chuck Washington.
Thank you, Chris. I'll be very brief, but to say that we have embraced Juan, he has become part of us, part of the community. To say he's a celebrity would be an understatement, because he's been an inspiration to everyone, not just at the city, but everyone within the city and the community of Temecula. And I very much see the same thing happening for you, Matt, and for your family. Again, Temecula would love to be the sanctuary where heroes come to live. I think we've got a great track record. You can talk to Juan and ask him, but Temecula is a great place to live, to work, to raise a family, and to be a hero. So welcome, welcome.
Hard to top those words of my colleagues, but pardon me, it's an honor to be here this morning. And I'll just give you just a brief little bit of my own personal history and how this touches me. After 7 years of active duty as a Navy pilot, I went to work for Delta Airlines. On September 11th, 2001, as I lay in bed next to my wife, the phone began to ring, early morning West Coast time, and she answered several calls. Where's Chuck? Where's Chuck? Is he flying? No, he's right here. We got up, we turned the TV on, and we stood aghast at what was happening. Airplanes flown into the World Trade Center, into the Pentagon, and then those heroes that took over that plane and crashed in a field. But we knew that the freedoms that we took for granted, as the mayor spoke of, that those were being attacked. We had firefighters, we had first responders responding to the scene who gave their lives to try to help those people get out of that building. And the resulting warfare in both Iraq and Afghanistan were directly related to the events of that day. And many were called to fight that fight to defend our freedoms. And the result is heroes to my left, to my right, and a commitment by all of us to honor them, to support them, and to support events that support them. And as the mayor said, we welcome those heroes into our community. We will embrace them. It was a great honor last year to have the Lieutenant Dan Band perform right here on the steps of City Hall, and now to have them come back again so that we can honor and support another military hero is just beyond words. You have all of our commitment to always support the activities that support our military families, and I feel such a great honor and privilege that we get to have this opportunity again. Thank you.
As a foundation, we know that we would not be here today if it wasn't for what happened on September 11th, 2001. But through this process, there's been many miracles throughout our foundation's growth and being here in Temecula. And one of those miracles is a partnership with a great human being, a great humanitarian, Gary Sinise. Gary Sinise is like the modern day Bob Hope. When he did his approach to City Council just a year and a half ago, the day after, he flew to Iraq to do a concert with the Lieutenant Dan Band. We're excited that Gary is our partner. We're excited about the concert. And we encourage everyone to go to operationmatt.com to buy their tickets. But Matt, we actually have a personal message from Gary Sinise that I'm going to ask the city manager, Aaron Adams, to come up and read.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I have a personal message from Mr. Gary Sinise. I'm privileged and honored to be here to read that, or should I say Lieutenant Dan. And this is for you, Matt. Staff Sergeant Matt Lammers is a two-time Purple Heart recipient from his service in Iraq. On June 10, 2007, as he and his men were returning from a mission to their base in Baghdad, their Humvee drove over an EFP. The blast took both of Matt's legs and left arm. His optimistic spirit, though, was unfazed and remains an inspiration to us all. Our nation is defended by men and women just like Matt, brave volunteers who willingly put themselves in harm's way to protect the freedom and security we too often take for granted. Staff Sergeant Matt Lammers, for his bravery and remarkable will in the face of incredible challenges, has demonstrated exemplary patriotism and character. Recently, Matt sent me a short video of him on a skateboard as he and his wife stopped in a local market. So inspiring. Nothing is going to stop this young man. It is for these reasons the Gary Sinise Foundation and Tunnel to Towers Foundation have pledged to build him a new home. It is truly our honor to support such an upstanding man as Staff Sergeant Matt Lammers. And then there's another personal note to this letter. It says, Matt, again from Gary, I wish I could be there to thank you personally today for the incredible sacrifices you've made for each and every one of us. But I will see you soon, and I look forward to paying tribute to you on November 2nd as we return to beautiful Temecula with our Lieutenant Dan Band concert in your honor. I encourage the entire community to come out to share this moment with you and your family as we begin our fundraising campaign to build you a beautiful new home. It is our wish that this home represents, in some small way, the sincere gratitude we feel for all you have given in service to our great country. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Your pal, Gary Sinise.
Thank you, Aaron. As I mentioned just a few minutes ago, and as we've reiterated, 1 year ago today, we turned over a smart house to Juan Dominguez. Our foundations aren't able to do what we do without the help of the community. And this time, we do not have a huge benefactor that's going to help us with this project. So we're truly asking the community to come out and buy your ticket, and all of the proceeds from this concert will go towards building that smart house for Matt Lammers. But as I mentioned a minute ago, we did turn over a smart home to Juan Dominguez last year. And I'm going to ask Juan to not only kind of express his words on this community and how it's treated Juan, but I'm also asking Juan to introduce his friend, Matt Lammers, who has decided to live here in Temecula as well. Should work, hopefully.
Good morning. A year ago today, probably like 6 o'clock. Is it good now? You guys hear me? 6 o'clock in the morning. I remember pretty well. They unveiled the house that you guys all pitched in and helped create for us. And just want to take a minute to say how weird it is, how everything came full circle. I was a senior in high school when the planes crashed, and I remember seeing it, and I wanted to go in the military, and even more so after that, I wanted to go get some, you know. And I think back about the journey that I've got, you know, from becoming a triple amputee to everything happening. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I live on Rivera Drive. And in the community that I live in was named after all the people that lost their lives in Flight 93. I didn't know that. The foundation, I'm sure, didn't know that Standard Pacific had chosen to do that. And it was just weird how one of their engineers, contractors, had found me in an airport and basically spotted me and said, we want to build you a house. Going from that, you know, going to a Marine Corps marathon in DC. So I thought that was weird. And then my second one was, now we're living on a streets named after the people that lost their lives. And how full circle it comes around. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that God pushed me in this direction. And Temecula has welcomed me and opened their arms, and I couldn't feel more welcome to here in this town. I have little boys wanting to throw my trash for me, help cut my grass. I mean, follow me all the way into the bathroom to open stalls for me. I tell you what, I've never had that in any place I've traveled in the United States, or any country for that matter. Be that awesome. So now that I look back and I think about, and me and my wife reflect on our home that we live in today, I know that Temecula is a great place to live, and I know that you guys are going to welcome Matt Lammers. And I can't, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you guys. I feel really safe here. I feel really comfortable. I don't feel like I get stared at. I feel like I get looked at here as a person and not because of my injuries. And I want to thank you guys for that sense of a home for me and my wife. And now I want to be able to present that to my buddy, Staff Sergeant Lammers, and his wife, Alicia, who we've become really good friends. And so right now I'm going to pass it to Matt and just want to say, you know, let us not ever forget the sacrifices that we made, and not us let the ultimate sacrifices of our brothers and men and women in uniform who laid the ultimate sacrifice and are no longer here, but gave that last breath to provide the freedom that sometimes even I take for granted. If I take it for granted, I know some other people do. So let's help remind each other of what this day means to us and how to keep America strong. Now I want to introduce Matt Lammers. Thank you, guys.
I would first like to just say from the bottom of my heart, and if I may please speak for my wife as well, which I normally don't do, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of you wonderful people out here in Temecula. My wife and I had moved around quite a bit. We've been through quite a lot. Coming here to visit my brother, Corporal Juan Dominguez, and his wife, Alexis Dominguez, helped me realize that I have got some PTSD issues that I'm working on, and we have since sought marriage counseling through the VA, and she's a keeper. I love her, and she's my, long story short, third wife. I've had previous relationships and whatnot where they said I was half a person, and I don't feel that way in Temecula. Councilwoman, Mayor, everyone, I want to thank you for your time as well. Just feels great to be here. Love this weather, love the people, and thank you. I'm speechless from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much gratitude. Thank you.
Matt, it is an honor that the Gary Sinise Foundation and the Tunnel to Towers Foundation are embarking on this journey. And as Juan Dominguez said, there's been many miracles along the way, from finding out after Juan chose the property that that subdivision was actually named in memory of those that had perished on 9/11, to how we found Juan, to how we found you. We're grateful and honored that we are participating in this project, and we encourage the rest of Southern California to get involved. And we ask you to get involved by going to OperationMatt.com. Buy the tickets to the Lieutenant Dan Band Benefit Concert. It's going to be a lot of fun, as we had that concert here last year. We're going to call it a Gary Sinise and Lieutenant Dan Band sequel, where we're asking everyone to come out and see the sequel and have a lot of fun and know that your money is going to a great cause, and know that that money will be spent here in Temecula to build a wonderful new home so Matt can live a wonderful new life here in the city of Temecula. So thank you for coming today. We're going to do some individual interviews. We'll start with Matt Lammers with the media that's here. We'll do Juan Dominguez, myself, and a representative from the city of Temecula. So thank you for coming out today again.